Today's video will be comparing Cybertrack mud flaps from Best EV Mod and T-Wraps.
All right, today I'm going to do a quick mud flap review for you. So I have two different mud flaps here. This first one here is made by Best EV Mod, and the second one here is by T-Wraps. I would love to also review the Tesla ones, but I ordered those 3 weeks ago, and well, they're not in just yet. So these are about 60 bucks through Best EV Mod. I knew these were going to be cheaper, but these were the ones here from T-Wraps. As you see them here, they're thin, they're very small. They are transparent as compared to the EV mods. I knew these would be thin. They were smaller than I was expecting. Again, you can kind of see that difference. So what I'm gonna do for you here is I'm gonna walk you through getting these on the truck itself. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the Best EV mod on the driver's side. And I'm gonna go ahead and put the T-Wraps on the passenger side. And I'm about ready to go on an 800-mile road trip from Las Vegas to Denver, Colorado. And we're gonna see aesthetically what we like, but also how well they do as far as keeping mud off the car itself as we go.
One benefit I'll mention later in the video of the Best EV Mod mud flaps is they did come with a rivet removal tool, which that's the little red-handed tool you'll see me using, which pops these little plastic rivets out. I'm sure there's a bunch of other tools I had that would have worked, but this just worked really good. It just fit right inside that top layer of rivets and allowed me to pop those out. Each flap had 4 to 5 rivets, which is a simple matter of popping them out and then popping the new rivets in. The holes all lined up perfect on the EV Mod and the T-Wrap flaps. And what you just saw was I can rotate the wheels, even the back wheels on the Cybertruck. 4-wheel turning, steer-by-wire, pretty awesome. And that is very helpful. So make sure you do that. In the front and back tires, rotate those away as much as possible to give you enough room to put those out. And again, this is the back one of the EV Mod, popping out those 4 rivets. Here, getting the last ones in. Now I'm using that tool to force the rivets back into place. Now I've moved over to the rear passenger side where I'm putting the first T-Wrapped brand mud flap in. Again, just 4 little rivets on this one. I pop out and put them back in. Again, I can't state how important it is to shift those wheels, even if it's the tiniest little bit. The more clearance it gives you, the better off you'll be. Again, this one has 4 rivets, and again, they all lined up perfectly with the holes there previously. I used all new rivets, but you could use the old Tesla ones. They would work just fine. They're all very similar, actually. And now I'm moving to the front passenger side wheel, where I'll pop out these 4 rivets and put the last T-Wrap flap in. All 4 very easy installation. Now, 1,000 miles and 1 week later. All right, so we've completed our road trip. I got about 1,000 miles on these mud flaps, and we're going to recap real quick to see how they did compared to one another. So this is a look at the driver's side, of course the front wheel, and then back at the left lower body. I didn't really notice a lot of mud, so I guess that's the good things, what it should be doing. Now here the T-Wrap side, the rear wheel and the front wheel. Again, I didn't really notice much mud at all on either side of the vehicle. All right, so to recap a little bit, I got the larger, bulkier EV Mod and the smaller, thinner one by T-Wraps. The EV Mod one is 60 bucks, $59.99, and the T-Wraps one is $44.99, so basically 45 bucks, so a $15 difference. So as far as keeping mud off the car, as you saw, albeit a pretty dry trip, I didn't really notice any kind of difference. I thought it was interesting to see is that these are both your front ones, is if I line these holes up perfectly, they're actually almost totally parallel on the outside. In fact, the T-Wrap one actually does stick out slightly more, it's slightly larger. It's just the rear one is just go down lower than the other one does. So this could be a problem. So you'll see here in a second, I'll show you a picture of mine next to a parking ballard. So I got out of my truck the other day, and as my suspension was lowering to the exit height, I heard a scrape. That scrape was my rear mud flap scraping the ballard. I backed up in normal ride height. I didn't touch it, but when it came down, it literally scraped on that concrete back block. So if you choose these, it's something to be conscious of as you back up. These, of course, are the front set. Again, your EV Mod, your T-Wrap one. Again, these ones lining up are much closer. So this extends further up in the car, but you don't see it. When these are lined up perfect, they're almost the same on the bottom and the side. You can't really see one or the other much more than the other. So as far as coverage, they're pretty similar. But if you got the extra 15 bucks, the Best EV Mod ones are quite a bit nicer. They're quite a bit sturdier, quite a bit nicer.
And the last thing is they come with the tool. The tool is really nice to be able to get those old plastic rivets out.
Go ahead and hit that thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel.